Hi guys. So I want to do like a very short tutorial on full stack project. So I have a couple of requirements. Um, the first one being the requirements are we supposed to build a full stack project using one Next.js or React. And then you have to build another like backend project as well using Node.js, and then the database that we're supposed to use is Postgres as well. So we'll have to, and then maybe at the end of it, we need to set up in a way that maybe have a Docker file, and then also for it to be able to be deployed easily. So what we'll start with doing like the Next.js, then move on to the backend. We create a whole backend system with Node.js, Express. I will talk about that when we get there. And then finally prepare a Docker file. And then from there, I'll guide you on what to do next. So to understand our requirements, the first one is you build a prototype of a web app that educates users about life insurance. It gives them a personalized recommendation based on their profile data. So first thing that we need to do, been told we need to use Next.js with TypeScript. And then we'll build, you need to create a form that collects the age, the income, the number of dependents, the risk tolerance, and that's gonna be an enum. So in our language, low, medium, or high. And then after the submission has been done, gonna have personalized recommendation. Example, term of life, 500,000 for 20 years. A simple explanation for the choice. Their requirements are a clean, responsive design using like a Tailwind, Material UI, or something similar. For us, we're just gonna keep it simple and we'll use Tailwind. The backend, we are supposed to either use Node.js with Express or Nest or Python with Flask. So today we're gonna use Express. Maybe next time we'll use Python, but we'll not use Flask, but we'll use Fast API just to change things a little bit. So with an endpoint that has a recommendation that accept the data and returns a recommendation based on this, and this data needs also to be like saved in a Postgres. So can keep the logic simple in a way that if the age is less than 40 and risk is high, then term life. If age is less than 40 and risk is high, term life, but should be extensible for ML integration later. Okay. Then you just need to make it ready for deployment. We're not gonna do this today, but I'm just gonna show you how to create a Docker file, and then we'll try and explain how to do that. If you really need a video of how to deploy, maybe leave a comment there, and then I'll do a video on that as well. So the rest is optional, just maybe to showcase that you can do them. For example, building a mobile version with React Native, we not do that today, but if you need it, let me know. Then you can create an authentication flow that we can work with. We'll work on that as well. So we'll do a sign up and then also do a login page which accepts an email, a password, simple like that. Then we'll have login and monitoring. So that one we'll set it up on the backend. We just we keep it simple. We're not gonna complicate it for today. We use something called Winston. Once you get there, I'll show you how it's done. Then rate limiting, we'll not do that today, but we'll do it next time. And then a readme, comments on our code, and then deploy. I think I can show you how to deploy on Vercel because it's free. And then, so here's what is needed: responsive UI, well-structured components, clean state management, readable code. A backend, secure, clean API design, extensible, logic, clear schema design, proper use of SQL, no security, red flags, G-row, SQL injection, working local dev environment, security. We'll ensure that we have safe handling of inputs, maybe sanitization of the inputs themselves, and then README clarity, code organization, commit history, thoughtful comments. Yeah. So we'll start with the front end, and the first thing that we need to do is ensure that we set up a new project using Next.js and TypeScript. So I'll go over to their page, that is nextjs.org. The first thing is I'll just go direct to their docs and then installation. From there, we'll continue and I'll explain what I'm doing. The first thing that I'll do is I'll set up first thing is I'll copy this command and px create next app at latest. Right now, I'm just assuming that you have Node.js installed. If you don't have, just Google Next.js, download, and then this is the only way. Let me not say that joke. Why is this considering me I'm not a bot? Anyway. Google, I'm a human being. Let me do it slowly. Finally. So if you don't have Node.js, just Google Node.js.download, and then go to their first link, that is nodejs.org. Click on download. Make sure that the one you're selecting is the latest stable version. So the latest version is version 22. And then just click whether you're in macOS or you're in or Windows, just click download and then install. So that is just straightforward. And then once you're done, come back to the process. So I'll copy this command and then I'm gonna open my Visual Studio Code. I'll just open a fresh new folder. So mine have tutorials saved somewhere in my local machine. Then I just paste that on my editor. Also, if you don't have Visual Studio Code, just go to the browser, just search for Visual Studio Code, and then ensure that it's downloaded. It's a free open source as well, so it's available for Windows and it's also available for Mac OS. So depending on the architecture you're using, that's how I just download straight from there. So since I already have it installed, I just run the command, and then it's gonna ask me a few questions. The first one is, do you want to proceed? Yes. What's the name of the project? We're just gonna name it let's see, life insurance. So life insurance. Let me just zoom in. So I'm gonna name it life insurance. Would you like TypeScript? Yes. I don't like to use ESLint. Tailwind? Yes. For me, I don't prefer to use a SRC folder, so I'm just gonna proceed with a no. Then uprooter, yes. There are two ways you can use Next.js, whether it's uprooter, I'll explain once it's done setting up, or you can use the pages. So I would like to use a turbo pack. Yes, just makes the development faster. A different type of import. No, just want to maintain the default one. then it will be done installing. So once it's done, I'm just gonna go ahead into our folder. So what I was saying is there is two-way Next.js is created using the app folder and the pages. They kind of offer the same thing, just that on the pages, instead of having, like, if you need to create a different, let's say, slash product, you'll have to just do like straight product dot txx, but it's still the same thing, as opposed to what you have here, where you have to, if you want a product page, what you need to do is come and create the product as a folder, and then inside it you create a page.tsx. That's the only difference, but everything else remains the same, most of it. So I'll just go ahead and now explain the rest. So you have the app folder, which now will contain all our, like, if let me start this, npm run dev, sorry, npm run self. Oh, sorry, I need to cd into if insurance and then npm and dev. So it will start the project under localhost 3000. So what I was saying is, for each page.tsx, it refers to maybe a slash, and then if you had the folder, let's repeat here, product, and then page.tsx. So for now, I'll just copy this, and then I'll go back here and I'll paste and maybe change one thing here, page product, that. Then now to explain what this means, if I go to this URL and then to my browser, you're gonna see now our project is running afresh over here. And if I go to slash product, you'll be able to see now it has changed as well. But now whatever matters is, if I can see if we can do this side by side to explain it better. So the URL here, product, and what you have over here slash product is now, like, this is the root, but what comes after the folder, but the original one is just slash, one that is not inside another folder. So that's how it's going to be. If you need to create a different one, you just create the folder, and then the file name has to be called page.tsx. That always has to be that way. Then we have the layout. Now the layout is like this. Now it's like a wrapper of all the other pages that we have, like the content that will be transferred to every other pages. You see, as you can see, we have the HTML, you have the body, and now we have the children. The children now is all these contents now fed into the layout. So for example, if I needed to load something before even getting to the children, this is where I would, with something like a global variable that I need to pass, this is where I would come and add them. If I need to set up the titles, if I need to set the meta tags that are going to be shared across the whole application, this is where I'll always set them up. And then now from here, I'll just, as you can see, just have the div, the main, and the rest of the information that we need. So to start our project, let's go back to our requirements. We need to have an input full of an user input full inputs where it accepts an age, income, number of dependents, restaurants, all that. So we'll just come and edit our page.tsx to meet that. I will first go ahead and get rid of all this since I don't need them, and also get rid of all this, so that the only thing I'm left is the div and the main from once the project was set up. And then now we can start working from there. To understand, yeah, the next thing that I will do is I need to explain what I want to do the next thing. After React, is it 18 or 19, they introduced server-side components. An introduction also was introduced to app. That means that if at all I need to use anything that's client-side from here, it's gonna throw an error. What do I mean by this? So things like any button action, any state rendering, anything that is not drawn by HTML by default, they have to be rendered from the client side. To explain that better, what I'll do is first I'm gonna use client at the top, but I'm gonna move it out of here so that I just explain what I need to do. And then I'm gonna import useState from React, and then I'll have the four inputs. So the first one is age, then set age is equals to useState, it's an empty string. And then the next one was income, number of dependents. So income like that. And then to fulfill the requirements for the TypeScript, you just need to define the data type for these, and that is going to be a string like that. And then the other one is just create this. It's going to duplicate these as well. I have at the top. And then that is number of dependents and then risk tolerance. So dependents. Yeah, I need to. And then this is the risk. Let's set a risk. So for this risk, it's an enum. So what I'll do is for now, I'll just take it as is, and then for reference, I'm just gonna leave a comment at the top. I'm changing this right now so that we understand what we need to do. And then from here, I need to have an input that has the value. The first one is the age. Then we just close that first, and then on change, we have its value. Usually minutes. I'm just gonna duplicate this, then go ahead and change income, then dependents, then finally risk. So if you come back to our UI, yeah, can't see anything because I'm in dark mode. Let me add some classes. Class main shall do is by default just gonna have the background to be white, and then for here I'll select a border and then border gray, like that I see it like that, and we can see it all over here. So the other thing that I've seen is the text needs to be black. For now, let me get this. So I'll go to the debugging tools. It's value dot target dot. So for it to work, I'll set age to be this. If I type right now, it's working as opposed to this. Then one more thing that you have realized is that I'm repeating myself a lot here, as you can see it. So what I can do is I'll create one input that I can reuse over and over again instead of having to just copy this, duplicate that and that. So over here on the root folder, I'm just gonna go ahead and create another folder call it components. That, and then I'll create another folder called input. So in that inside, I'll create let me just call it an index.txx. Then here I'm gonna export default input field. Sorry, that function, and then I'm gonna return one of these like that. Do that. So from here, the first thing that I need to do now is okay. So I need to have the props, and here the first thing that I need to do is pass the value, and then actually first let's create an interface of what you're expecting. So input field interface. The first thing we're expecting is a value, which is a string. And then the next thing we're expecting is a set value, which is a function that accepts a string value, which is a string, and then returns void, meaning like I'm not expecting anything to come from that. So this I need to set value like that, and then it's gonna have that. So there are a couple of ways of doing this. So this is the first one, and then in the next example I'm gonna do it a little bit different just to showcase what it is that you're expecting. So this value I'm gonna set it there, and then this I'm gonna set it over here. Sorry, that I need to understand why it's complaining like that. Oh, my bad, my bad. I saved it somewhere. It shouldn't be. This folder should be inside this, like that. So I don't even need to import that. So the component folder should be inside the life insurance folder. That's my bad, my fault. Then now, since you're expecting this and this, all I need to do now is I'll go back to our page.txx and I'm gonna replace all this with that input folder. So the first thing is I will start by importing it. So import from, so one folder up and then components and then input. So since the next folder is just index, there's no need to do that for me. So I just call it like that and it's okay. Then the next thing I'll do is I'll come and input field. Remember, it's accepting two fields. That is the value, which for us on this case is the age, and then set value, which in our case is set the age. So if I do that, now this one is set. Let me duplicate this. Set income, and then we have dependents. Set dependents like that. And then finally we have the risk. And set risk. Now we are done with that. Let me get this ready of that input, input. So if you come back to our screen, now you can see all of them are working as intended. To understand why I had this here is now for it to make sense is if I remove this, there is use client, and then I save, you will see the application just crashes. The reason being is by default Next.js treats all these pages as server-side rendered, meaning that the page is loaded even before it gets to the user. And whenever you're using like maybe useState or any handling function, meaning like a button click, those functions that are performed by the client from the client side, that means that they cannot no longer be rendered from the backend, but they have to be rendered now from the client side. That is why you see, since I removed that and you're trying to do some actions from the server side, it's causing an issue. It's like we're trying to set the age, we're trying to fill in the input fields using a useState. That's why all that is happening. So that we still maintain the server side functionality of Next.js, I'm going to change a little bit of the structure to maintain the same and offer, because I still need to use the server side part of it. And why it's so useful is because, well, if I go ahead and let me take it back a little bit and then inspect the page, I view the page source. It's going to wrap this. The one thing that we're trying to ensure that we get is, if you look at this, we're trying to have all these rendered as fast as possible to give the user the feeling that the system, like your website, is faster. And then later on, we load all those client side slowly as they come in. This is like you're removing all the heavy lifting directly from the client side, and you're taking the most important stuff to the backend and just letting only client side things to remain client side. I hope that makes sense. Coming back to here now, to solve our problem and still maintain the same functionality, on the components page, I'm gonna create another folder, and I'm gonna name it let's say homepage for now, because I'm just dealing with the homepage at the moment. And then inside there, I'm just gonna have an index. You can always rename it whatever you're comfortable with. The first thing I'll do is I'll use this client, and then I'm gonna take this use state from here. I'm gonna save it there, and also take all this. Need to export home components. Keep forgetting about the function. Oh, let's do it differently this time. So constant home page equals true. Using the arrow function, we do that, and then we paste those use states, and then the next thing that we'll do is return our fields, which are all these. That's so if I paste it like that, React does not like it because it operates with the functionality of a parent child. And here we don't have any parent whatsoever. Like we need to have maybe an opening tag and then another closing tag for us to wrap all these inputs into it. Since I don't want to use the div, I'm just gonna use fragment that, and then from here I'm just gonna use the fragment, and then I'll move all my HTML code here, and I need to import this as well. So I've imported it directly from the input, and then I'll save that, and then I have to export this. Home page component. So once I've exported this, I'll just come here and I'll just do the same thing. It's now importing it like that. So I've imported homepage component from components and directly from the home folder. And then now once I save this, it should be okay now. As you can see, it's back as expected. Now, I don't like how it looks, by the way. It looks very hideous. So what we need to do is we need to style our page a little bit to make it look a little bit better than this. So we'll add a container here, and then we'll have at least 2 inputs at a go, so that at least try and bring it look a little bit better, and also increase maybe the width, the height of it, add some border radius, then we'll be done with this page. So we start with wrapping all these. Now we'll go to our components page over here, and the first thing we'll do is now you understand the purpose of the fragment, why it comes in handy. Remove it out, and then I'll use a div. I'll add a class. The first one I'll add is a container to make sure that all these are wrapped inside a container. If you do this and I show you the content of what is in here, you can see it's inside a container. And then the next thing that I'm gonna do is we'll have to make changes here a little bit, but now I'll add some padding. Let's first do that. Create some space between each other, and then I'm gonna put this into grids so that you have at least two. Or actually, let's try that and see. Grid. So, that's a little bit better. Now there isn't any space in between. Interesting. Okay. Then now we'll have. I need to remove this. This is a class that's really messing me up over here. See them. Next. This. Then justify the content at the center. Add. Then from there, what you're missing now is let's take all this. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of, take these out over here, bring it here. So that I can control it. Then now I'm gonna flex. Then from there, I'm just gonna create that. Let's have another div. Let's see. We want it is really messy in the design I want. Let's have the content and then work from there. So I'll have the class name, and then I'll have grade. Then I'm gonna create do alignment. We'll do space. I still prefer grid. Let's look at the documentation for grid. Tailwind. Let's have this what I Then in each column I want to have I did save. Now let's style this and then from there we'll work on that. So we'll have folder So we have rounded, then that is large. We have px ui of 2. That increases the input a little bit. Okay, not even shrinking. This is really let me just run my whole design. Better. Then it's gonna send X. Yeah, it's better. Much better. And then now all I need to do is just fix all this. Then from here, I'm just gonna go to the input. I'm gonna set a defined width of maybe 42, 40, and just need to have and you just need to have read of 2. Oh, it's going overboard. Okay, let's add a label for this as well. Top here, and another one here, and another one here, and another one here. So what we'll do is we'll have label with example age. I'm gonna import fragments from React. We do have one. You just can't see it. It's faded there. So let's add some color to it. So text is black. Make it more visible. We need to have an ID. The ID for this. So from here also we need to pass the title. That on this title string at I'm thinking of naming it the same thing. Yeah, it's gonna bring problems. So let's do this. Gonna be title dot replace. Gonna replace any kind of space. Replace all. Any kind of space and underscore. And then it's gonna be getting the name. Then go back here. We need to pass title, and for this one it's gonna be age. Title for this one is gonna be income. Gonna be number of dependents. And finally, the last one is risk tolerance. So as you can see now, you have, at least you have a form that has an age, an income, number of dependents, and a risk tolerance. Still doesn't look the way I want it to look, but we move on. So the other thing that one of the things that we need to set up now is at least to have an action button where you can be able to submit our form. That's one of the things. Then we need to have at least 2 inputs per row for it to look a little bit better. So just give me a minute. Mhm. Okay, I think I'll have to maybe write it a little bit different, but this is gonna achieve it either way. It's not the optimal one, but for now I'm just gonna use it. So I'll wrap these two, each of them into their own div. I'll explain why I'm doing that in a minute, like that. And then from here, I'm gonna have a class, and then I'm gonna flex, and then flex column. So that is two. Do the same. Yeah, a minute. It ruins the design, then get rid of all this one. Seems like this doesn't fit. Reduce the width. Okay. Interesting. It doesn't like that. Flex row, sorry. Yes. And flex row like that. Now it has really affected my design. Go into this input field. Let's have a div. And then class name. I'm gonna flex, and then I'm gonna flex column. So that still maintains the same design. And then from here, we're gonna have a gap. If that's yes. Still not what I want, but it's almost. So a gap of 2. Same thing here. And let's return our width of half. Couldn't fit. Okay, that's better. So that's much more better. Let's add some space between these two. That is gonna be it's also have a gap of 2 as well. Much better. Thinking we do like 3/4. Better. So from there, we have just destroyed my From there, I think we should now have like maybe a description at the top to explain what this form is doing. Then also have a submit button over here, and then I will move to the next form. Then we'll be done with this. So just to have a title at the top, what we'll need to do is you can add it here at the top, and then we just have like h1 saying let's look at students. A single page that collects line user inputs. So filling the information, filling in the inputs to can try and figure out a better title for this. Fill in the form. To get personalized recommendation like that. See how it looks like from here. Cannot be seen. That's better. So we'll have class name, then we have actually use bold. And then we have text. Oh yeah, and then we also need to center the text. And you can also do from here is margin top to create some space between this and this. And that text is looking a little bit small, but works. Add the size for it. So text, let's use this and see how it looks. Don't like it. Better. Let's have the final button at the bottom. So we just have, I'm thinking of having a div and then button over here. So it's gonna say, let's do that. Submit. See, cannot be seen anywhere. So I'm gonna do last name, flex, justify, enter, and also center it at this there. And then from here, we'll add some styling to the button. So first thing we'll can have the background for it to be blue, then have some border, then rounded. Do that and see. They look good. So we'll have some padding. That, see how that one does. Almost. You don't like it. Yeah. Now you can have the width placed to be 4, and then for the height to be 2. So that's to be a little bit consistent like that. So one thing that I don't like is, it's on the center, but kind of looks off. But look into that in a few. So while you're at that, let's make sure that it looks good on the smaller devices to fulfill the other request. One of the things is here it looks weird. So we need some padding to the left. Understand its layout. A device to work with. So here the title is okay. This is the one that is not okay. From here we'll add APX. That's better. Then I'm thinking for smaller devices, instead of us having them 2 by 2, we have them 1 by 1. That at least it's a little bit more presentable. So what we'll do is we'll have copy this as is, and then just have one. Then from Yeah, we do that. And did not help at all. Oh yeah, should change it. So we're just gonna have next call. Yeah. Same thing should apply over here. Well, and actually you can always move this to be like its own component. For now, I'm just gonna leave it as is. Looks better, but it's a little bit to the left. I'm just gonna try and center this text over here. Here, I'm just gonna move text center. So here we'll have it full. Then mid-sized devices, it's gonna be a quarter. A little bit better, but now the label looks weird. My opinion, though, I don't like the way it looks. I'm just gonna take this out and leave it as is, the way it was. Better. Let's see. It looks better. Yeah, this now it's more responsive based on the screen size as well. The only thing that we are now left is just this title. Then from there, I think we'll be done. Just need to do is text. For smaller device, it's gonna be that size, and then for bigger device, it's gonna be that size. Much better. I like it. Now, since we all have this, I think we should go back and remember and figure out what our data types for all our inputs. So for an age, by default, it's supposed to be a number, and also for this, for the risk tolerance, it's supposed to be an enum. So that one, for the risk tolerance, we're gonna use a select, and then for the age, we're gonna use, we make sure that it's a number. It's only a number that can be typed into that input field. That's one of the criteria that we need to check. And then at least rearrange, we're gonna rearrange it a little bit so that we just have strings at the top, then we have maybe the other types at least at the bottom. So that's when you're starting, at least now it kind of makes sense. Maybe you start with the number of dependents, maybe you can move to the age, then you have your income, and then you have the risk tolerance. At least someone goes like step by steps. At least for me, that is what will make sense. So that at least understand, okay, they need to know the number of dependents that we have. They need to understand the income that I have as well. They need to understand how old I am, and also the risk tolerance for it. From there, now let's start by doing that. So I'll take that there. Then age, you're gonna bring it. Yeah. So one of the things that I think we should a little bit, this for this input we'll have to change because it's gonna be a select statement. Then from there, I'm gonna continue. So for this, I'm gonna switch to select, then options. So they were low. First one is low, medium, and then we have then for age, one of the things that you'll do is you'll either have to recreate this whole input as is, so that we set the data type that you're expecting, because it has to be either a number, it has to be like the data type of it has to be a number, or it has to be a string. So far all along we used, I forgot to add the type. which is by default it was a text. But since I don't want to like change this whole format, what I'll do is also pass the type itself like that. That I can reuse it over to age as well. So type gonna be a string as well. Then here be a type, pass default is a text. Actually, what I can do is from here so that I only pass it when I need it. And I put it like a question mark. By default, I'm gonna set it to be text. That I only pass it when I need it. And that time that I only need it is here, where I'm gonna use number. And then we'll have to change this function a little bit so that we ensure at no point this user can actually type in any other text, because there is a small flaw that I know. For example, already we have defined that this is a text, right? This is a number, right? But looks weird a little bit to have this. This is a problem that I know with a mobile device where they cannot be able to type in the number properly. So I'm gonna leave it as text, but I'll manipulate that input to ensure that we only always get number input on that field. So here I'm gonna undo this. I'm gonna remove it. But here I'm gonna create a function where now we manipulate this edge. So handle update change age. So the first thing that you're expecting is a value, which is a string. That, and then we need to set age be the value that. And then this is what you're gonna pass to set as value. So still the functionality remains, as you can see. I still can be able to change, but now we are expecting both of these. So what you need to do is you need to ensure that only numbers can be added to this input, and also the number should not be the number should not be negative. Actually, should not be less than. Actually, let's just say should not be negative for now, and it's greater than 150, just as a precaution. If you know anyone who is older than 150 years old, please comment down below. I want to know. I'm really interested to know, actually. So for this, we'll actually need a regex where it actually strips out any kind of string and then just leaves only numbers. That I have to Google the regex. I'm not that good with the regex. Regex. So let's try this. out, and then let's print out the value of this first. Now to see what you're getting. Value dot match pattern. Spit out. So if I type in, let's type in that, so and be able to see it on here properly. And then what you need to do is new value is equals to value dot match pattern, then join. Oh yeah, you need to check, but you need to ensure that it exists actually. So let me test this scenario I'm considering to see what will happen. Over here, can I go ahead, do that? That works. So we just do if new value, let me just complicate if new value, and then just now set our value if it's actually just a number, otherwise do nothing. And then if new value, so and plus int is less than 0, oh, it should be that. Equals no less than, that these as is, not greater than. You sure this is working the way I want it? I can see a problem with that, where age is equal to an empty string. So yeah, no, it's not working as intended. The problem is this here. And oh, just can just do that. It's greater than that. And it's less than 150. And that should work. So then we have another problem, but it's working as intended, because if I just write I'm 50 years old, it's okay. But now if I go a number above 123, it automatically deletes that. So what should we do? I think I should just move this, keep it that way, and then if not new value, that return ahead of executing any of this, then all you can do is just get rid of that function as well. So if it's always going to be null or undefined, nothing will actually happen. But if the value is greater than 0 or it's less than 150, that is okay. So from there, just even I type a number above that, works perfectly. Now we are left with our issue over here of the select. What you need to do is take these labels as is, come back to our select over here, then get that. So here it will be disk tolerance. That's one. Then I need to take these classes as well to maintain some functionality and the same design. That's yeah, back to how it's supposed to be. You can see. Now we are good to go. As you can see, everything is now working. Oh, the income as well is supposed to be number and shouldn't be a string, so you can actually repeat under the same design that you have already done for the age, but for this time you're only checking that the amount should not be less than like 10. Yes. So from here I'm gonna have a different function, the same one as this, then 100 change income. There we're gonna do the same thing, just need to ensure that the amount is greater than 10, like that. You don't have a limit for that, then just take this set now this shouldn't be have an issue over here. Just gonna fix it instantly. Yeah, I forgot to take care of when you actually want to delete that information. So here we should just set age to be that, and then also set age, my bad, should be income. That works. Let's see. Now for the income, something is not doing as okay. The amount should be greater than 0. Yeah, the amount should be greater than 0. You cannot be able to do less than that, because it will get the whole system to just fail. Anyway, we are done with that form. All we now need to do is submit this form, and then we can say it's done. We create a function to submit handle submit form. Yeah, let me just call it handle submit. Then don't accept anything at the moment. And then just gonna an arrow function. So one of the things that we need to do is we need to ensure that all these inputs are actually filled before we submit. Now what you can do is you need to be able to notify the user maybe one of these input is wrongly mistyped, or there's an issue somewhere. And the best thing, I'm going to use two forms of notification. The first one, I'm going to use something we call sweet alert. I think I've written it. Sweet alert. So, an idea what this ad I was searching for. So this, I'm going to use this, and I'm also going to use it's React notification. Confirm. Yeah, React Toastify, these two. I'm gonna use these two. So I'm gonna show these pop-ups when there's an issue with the actual, like the form itself. And then I'm gonna use Sweet Alert to bring in like a full like pop-up, a big pop-up on the middle of the screen to show maybe there was an error sending the request to the API or something like that when something else goes wrong other than the actual user error. Let me say that. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these two packages. The first one is React.js. I'll just open a new terminal. Then I'm gonna run the command. I'm gonna go ahead, pick the other one as well. Then I'm gonna install that. So on the documentation of how to use them, we need to import, we start with the Toastify. We'll have to import these two, the Toast container and also the actual Toast notification itself. So let me go ahead and import those two. Then I'm gonna have to add this container here. I need to pass some parameters. Second. Just a second, I get that. I'm wondering why they're not in their documentation, but just look at them. Yeah, here they are. So I'm just gonna copy it as is, then I'm just gonna paste it here. Now I don't want to have it on the top right. I want it as center. Well, need to see center. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be top. Yeah, top right was okay. Keep forgetting, keep mixing it up with the other one. Then transition. Do I need transition? Do I need transition? Simple balance. Still complaining. So that now you can move. So we start validating our inputs, the user input. And the first thing that we need to do is ensure that the age has been filled. Actually, yes. And you have to ensure that it's actually a number. If not an age, that's one. And we try to and pass the int. It's not an actual number, then something went wrong. The first thing we need to return, and then I'm gonna use toast. Let's just copy an example. That. So yeah. So this, I want to show it as an error. So let me just get it from documentation. That. Okay, I see. So it's toast.error. Yeah. So it's gonna say age is required. And then let's test it to make sure that it's working. On our button at the bottom, I'm gonna do on submit. And back to our app. Cannot resolve React specify. Didn't install it? Oh no. Again, I installed it in the wrong place. Gonna go ahead and remove this. Gonna cd into life insurance. Gonna run the last two commands. Such. Now we have both of them running, and then coming back to application. Let's test it out to ensure that it's working. So if they submit that, if the age is not there, to not go. So I need to do the same thing for the others as well. Just gonna copy this, and always you can export these functions into their own components. For now, I'm gonna use them in the same function, that is. And then the last one, you have dependents. This is just if it's another dependent or and so actually all of them are numbers, by the way. Come to think of it, I missed this as well. So just take this as well, duplicate that, change dependence. And then use it here. Then set, and then same thing here, same thing. That's okay. Then if then here we just need to ensure that the dependents are not less than 1, or not less than 0 actually. Yeah, because it can be having 0 dependents. Yeah. Now all of that is now ready, except now for our risks. For that, we need to have an enum of risk. Just I'm gonna name it like that. So you have high, we have medium, and you have low. Mix them up. Go ahead. So in generally, it can only be one of these. gonna give that, and then good. Then now we need to do value disk insert change. At risk to value target. So from here, what you need to do is check that also risk is not null, not what I can do is I'll have, let me make my life easier. So constant risk list goes to an array of low also have, then bottom over here just gonna do like a loop. Rid of that, do this, and also to maintain what you had, first gonna add some CSS where I capitalize the first letter. That to fix that, disk does not include disk that. Oh, dependence required. This is income is required as well. This is risk tolerance. Okay, need a key. So for the key, I'm just gonna give it the same item. Now yeah, good to go. Just to ensure, to make sure that everything is working and ready to be submitted to the backend, I'm just gonna do like payload goes to our risk. Gonna have age dependence. What am I missing? Income. That. Then just 1 1000. My age, I'm gonna do like 30. Medium. As you can see, everything is okay. And now just what you're gonna do is gonna do try catch. This one I want to know when I come back here, everything is just set and ready. So here what we'll do is this time we'll use sweet alert in for their documentation. So need to import these two. Like that. Now because I know I'm gonna continue reusing this over and over again, I'm not gonna save it there. I'm gonna save it on our layouts page, the global. Then I'm here. Yes. Now I just need to fix this import. But then at here, and there is an error. Just gonna do that. So error titled something went wrong. That and for success. What was the recommendation again? Let's look at that. Let's put that for now. The confirm button. It's working. They want that. Oh, I need to have a default one. So the default, I'll set a default for the risk tolerance. Just move it up here. Is equals to risk tolerance, the first. Then just have 1000. Then the age is gonna be that. Then I'll submit that request. Time life 500,000 for 20 years. That is working as intended. Once we submit that form, one of the things that we need to do is we need to ensure that we clear the form. So if everything goes according to the plan, so I'm gonna set age to be that. I'm gonna set risk to be risk list. I'm just gonna set finance in as well. Yeah. Now for this page now it's done. All that is left now is just to ensure that the endpoint is ready and you submit that form to the end. Maybe as a cleanup, what I can do is add some space between that, like the padding, just to make it look a little bit better. Let's do this. That at least there's some space between the two as well. Then maybe later we can always add a navigation just to ease things a little bit, so that you can have the title and maybe the option as well for someone to log out, to complete. Hello, Messi. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. Uh, so the other thing that we need to add is the login page where we can be able to authenticate ourselves and also a sign up page. That's the next thing that we're gonna work on, as well as to add that navigation button. So uh, the whole essence of a developer is not to tire yourself. Let me say that if you have something that is readily available, please always reuse it. And I'm gonna show you how you can use all available materials out there to maybe quicken your development process and save you time on development as well. So what I'm gonna do is just a second, guys. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna show you like a quick way of improving your development time by using available resources and always having being quick on as you go. So the next thing that you need to have is a login page, and the first thing that I'll show you, there's always readily available components there that you can always just reuse and tweak them a little bit to offer the same goals that you want. So I'm gonna search for Tailwind components, like that. Then I'm gonna use this creativeteam.com. If you need that link, let me know. I'm gonna leave it below on the description. Let me know if you need it. Then I'm gonna search for a login page. I'll look for the ones that I feel like look good and represent what offers like what I want to do at the moment. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit simple, so probably gonna use this one. So shout out to every person who does this, because this really helps me out. It literally saves me on time on development, saves me on time in doing instead of having to develop all this code by myself, having to design them. I just need to come and take a specific component that I want, and then I continue the development. So once you find the component that you like, you show the code, you see it over here, and then I'm just gonna copy that and I will move on to the development as well. So for here, for the login page, I'm gonna go ahead, so I'll create on the app, I'm gonna create a login. Actually, what I'll do is I'll have an auth like that. Then inside the auth, I'm gonna have, but this is not a best way to teach, but let's do it the right way. So I'm gonna have a login page, that, and I'm also gonna have a sign up page as well. So on the login page, I'm gonna have the page.tsx like that. And then on the sign up as well, I'm gonna have the page.tsx similar. So what I'll do is I'm gonna export default function login page. Then I'm gonna return the code that we just copied. So you can see you're gonna have a lot of writes, but if you go ahead and remove these comments, because that's not how we comment on React, and then I'm gonna search for everything that has the word class name with the equal sign as well, and I'm gonna change that to class name. So the class with an equal sign, I'm gonna rename it to class name with the N being a capital. And once that is done, you can see all the errors have gone. And I'm gonna save that as well, and then let's see how it looks on our page. I'm gonna go straight to login. That, yeah, we have it. We have it as is, but I can see we have some few issues on the console. So we'll go ahead and fix that immediately, and those should always be on here. So I'll look for anything that has this that I replace, and I'm gonna remove that dash and replace it with a capital L. Same thing to line join. Copy that, replace. Same thing is that. And the last one is the stroke width, and do that. And then now everything should be ready. If I refresh this page, you can see I don't have any errors on my console. Everything looks neat as it should be. So one of the things that I don't need all this, and definitely what I'm gonna do is, instead of the forgot password, I'm just gonna have the sign up. So here we'll have a sign up, and then I'll get rid of this, also get rid of these as well. That by default, if you're not logged in, you'll always come to this page. I hope that makes sense. And then I'm just gonna duplicate the same thing onto the sign up page, just to be consistent. So they just have the email and a password and confirm password, and then they can log in that password and continue. So let's start by cleaning up all these things that we don't need. First one is removing those GitHub links, and should be this. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that section. I'm gonna also remove that help button, and this should be go to sign up. So and also let's get rid of this just to be done. One of the good things that I love about Next.js is that it has a better way of navigation and a way of like kind of caching the next page before you even go to it. So one of the things that I'm gonna use is, you see, we on the normal websites usually use the A tag, but on this I'm gonna use something called a link, and we import that from next link. And then from here, what you just need to do is we're gonna have the href the same way that you write the A tag, and then instead of having the whole URL, I'm just gonna have /signup like that. Now with this, if I go back to the sign up over here, as you can see, if I hover it at the bottom, you have the sign up. You can see that it's asking if I want to redirect to the sign up. If I click on that, right now it's not load because I'm not done anything on there, but that's how it's as simple as that. And if you want to add extra features, like now, like telling Next.js, if I'm here, I'm predicting that the user will always go to the sign up page. So most likely what I'll do is I'll add that tag over prefetch. What this tells Next.js is at the point where we are loading this page, it should, once it's done loading that page, it should also prepare the next page, the sign up page over here, already in the memory. Like I'm expecting the user to go there. Right now it's not a good use case, because if I'm coming to log in, that means I just want to log in. There's nothing else that I want to do over there. 90% of the people just come in to log in, except for new customers who want to sign up. But on the sign up page, it's better to have that prefetch on there, because once I'm done signing up, the next thing that I'm gonna definitely going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and log in. Now that makes sense. That's the whole essence of that. So I'm just gonna repeat the same things that you did. Have I used it for the email and the password, and then a login function for it. So just check that it meets all our requirements. So here, I'm just gonna change the input to an email so that it confirms that or the input that the email, that the actual whatever field's been put there is an email. And then I'll make sure that's required. Also for the label for the password, I'm gonna change it over to password. I'm also gonna make sure that it's required as is. Then now from there, what I can do is I need to move this function to be like what you did over here in the for the home page where you extracted those functions out there. So I'm gonna create another component. This time I'm gonna call it auth. And then in there I'm gonna create a login.tsx. Then I'm gonna create a signup.tsx. Same thing. With that now, for the input, I'm just gonna, I want to reuse the same inputs because I don't want to keep on doing the same, copying the same code over and over again. What I'll do is I'll have login inputs like that. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna come to the login page. I'm gonna import sorry, I'll start with use client, and then I'll import useState, that, and then I'll do int, and then I'm gonna return at all code. From there, I'm just gonna turn our link, make sure that it's imported at the top as well. Then next thing is I'll copy this so that I export it as a small component into our input, login inputs. And then I'm just gonna do export default. Oh, and this is best time to show the other way of doing what we do in the other input. So these are input component. Turn this. So and then one of the things that we need, so interface input, interface pilot. Then I'm expecting the title, that is a string. I'm also expecting the type is also a string, and I'm also expecting a value, the string. I'm also expecting unchange, which is a value, the string. Returns void. So remember previously what we did was we had the props that, and then we did input that. So there's still another way of doing, like, writing this out that still offers the same capabilities, which is you do like that, and then you React, telling React that's the functional component, and these are the input that actually I'm expecting from it. I need to import React. So I'm literally telling React that from this function, that this is a functional component that accepts this kind of input and should be prepared to get those kind of inputs. I hope that makes sense. Still works the same thing. It all depends with what you're comfortable with. If you want to use a function, or if you want to use the other function, and if you want to use this kind of method, it all depends with you actually. So this is input. So what I'll do is just gonna extract the title. I'm just gonna type. I'm gonna set it to be. This time I really need them as they are. Then the value. Then on change. Then here I'm gonna have title. Here I'm gonna have the type. The type. Then finally, but not least, I think. Oh yeah, value. That should be the value, and then on change. A what? Okay. Wants to. So I'm gonna set change. Like that. Now this component is ready and ready to be used. So back on here, what I'm gonna do is it's gonna have that component there. Then I'm gonna make sure that it's imported from input, login input, and then the first thing that it requires is title. We need the type, which is the email. We also need to tell the value. I'm gonna add that shortly. Then on change as well. Then done. That. So duplicate this thing for the password as well. Title. This has to be a password. Value, and then on change. Get done with that as well. So we just need to have same use state. So email, that email, I used it. But we're expecting a string. By default, it's empty string. Then we have password. Yes, it's then so gonna be a string. So what you need to do is pass the email, set email, set password, then finally the password as well. Then you'll be done. We need the function now to log in. So under login in page log, actually login under login, that is, don't expect anything. Then need to ensure that there's an email. If not email, we need to import. I'm just gonna come back to this. I'm gonna copy this import as well. So the toast and this sweet alert toast, you have imported it from React Toastify, and also imported sweet alert. We also need to import to add that the toast icon like we had on the previous page, so that you can write the function for it. So this, then add it as is. Top right, auto closes after 500 milliseconds, hide progress bar, all those functions. You can always tinker with this as you please. And then if the email is not there, what you need to do is you need to first return. But before that, you need to now send a notification saying that dot error, say email is required. Then if also, you can also check and email stream shouldn't be and should be or actually, come to think of it, stream. The stream goes to an empty string. So do the same thing for if not password and or password, sorry, dot stream. Oh, what will happen is you throw the error, the same thing. These validations are really important, and despite having them on the front end, it's also very important to have them on the back end, because you never know who is doing what actually. But default login page, login component, like that. And from there, just component so there's something that we needed to change from the other page, as I actually remembered. On our check, we are checking if it's not risk, and the risk does not include this. So this should be either of these, should actually just return true. So that it actually fails if none of those, if at least one of those conditions does not get met. It's gonna change that. Then come back to here, if not age, or if not that, or that. So that should be all set. So remember to change that. We're checking if it's not an age, or it's the age is not a number, or the age is less than 0, or it's this. any of this condition is true, gonna throw this error actually. Let me just copy this here, then I'm gonna use them. Let's test our code to ensure that it's working as intended, that function. On the button itself, we need to add one click. And a login. Then I can test email is required. Then same thing, I'm just gonna have a try catch. And then catch the error. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna return small. So I do not have those things on my tip. So let's keep on refiring. So .fire, swal.fire. We have the title, invalid credentials. And then we have as we have timer 10 milliseconds. See, we have okay. Then let's have the payload itself. Password. And if everything goes according to plan, just tell the user that let's copy this and change as yes. So you tell them success, login successful. Like that. So you can try it out just to make sure that working as intended. Oh, we need to change the text type. So come back to our input, that add style called text.black. This is the login input itself, so that when we type, you can actually see what you're typing. Back to our login page. So this did not work as intended. Didn't check if it's an email. What you can do is you can have a regex check if it's a valid email. Yeah, the script. I'm just gonna take this as is because I'm gonna reuse it somewhere actually. Come back to here. I'm gonna create another folder inside the life insurance. I'm gonna call it as either utilities or helpers. I'm just gonna use, and I'm gonna use helpers. And then I'm gonna check validation run.ts, because this is just pure JavaScript. You're not gonna use the TSX, you're just gonna use a TS. Then I'm gonna paste the code, and then I'm just before it I'm gonna export that. This is string that. Then back to the login page. If now I check here, now add, if not validate email, then pass our email. Should throw an error right now. So we use the this function that we've created here to make sure that it's a valid email. And actually this is a good thing, by the way. I need to always lower the email that is sent, otherwise I'll always have junk in my database. So lowercase. Back to close this thing. This doesn't check. Try that one more time. Okay. Let's see what went wrong. How does this return? This code never runs. Very weird. Okay. Something's not working as intended. It's very weird. Somehow my function is not working the way I want it to work. Let's figure this out. Give me a minute. Let me see what's happening. What? Yeah. Let's get into here, which is weird. This is never noted anyway. See what is happening. Is that right? The email is not being set. Interesting. Okay. Because I'm getting this. I'm getting oh, it's working actually. It's working. It's working. So you can change, enter a valid email. So let's test at email. Yeah, that is working as intended. Not sure what all these are. Let me see. Is 14. Okay. Sometimes restarting the server works. Okay. Now that you have that ready, we just need to do the same thing for the sign up. And change this your logo to life insurance. And then have like that. You're good to go. Next, we move to the sign up page. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. Actually, I'm just gonna copy that. Go to the sign up page, sign up page. Then I'm gonna paste the content from the login page. I'm just gonna change the title, sign up, like that. And then on the component, I will not use any of that anymore. But here, it's gonna copy the same thing as is. On the sign up, I'll paste. And then I'll change this component as is. Remember, our work is not to write this whole code, and I've already written it once. You just need to copy it, paste it, modify it to suit our needs. The next thing we have is sign up component. That. So I've updated the const up here, and I've also updated the export over here. It's gonna be the same thing, just that down here it's gonna be the login. Here, change it to the login. Keep this prefetch, but change that, and then on the password, you just need to have one more input. So here we also change it to sign up. Let's rename this function from handle login, just to prevent confusion, and we name it handle sign up as that. Hope that is better. Then, so we have renamed this function from handle sign up, and also this function over here from handle sign up as well. The next thing that we're gonna do is now add an extra one just to validate that the password, they've input their correct password. So we'll add verify password. That's then set verify password search. Then just duplicate this thing same way, but now it's verify password, verify password, verify password is required. And then now last one but not least should have, let me just duplicate this for the sake of saving on time. We at this point now we are sure that verify password and password exist. So you have to ensure that verify password and password are the same. If they are not, password actually I should have named it to confirm password. Password will be the same. So what I'll do is just find this, then change it to just for easy understanding, like that. Here, keep the camel casing, just change that. Then down here we duplicated the password component. What you need to do is confirm password, set confirm password. If I'm going too fast, also let me know. Okay, then the title is so like that. So if you go back to our screen, then you go to now the sign up page. I save? No, I've not saved this. This is what is missing. So this should be sign up components. So make sure that on the sign up page, the app sign up page, make sure that you import the sign up from auth sign up, and you replace what you had with this. Now if you go back to our screen, I have the email, you have the password, and you also have the confirm password. Can you see a few issues over here? For now, we'll address them later. So just test that everything is working. So it's there saying email is required, test@email.com. Password and confirm password should be the same. Yeah, 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Okay, we need to change that notification as well. So back to our sign up page. The other thing we need to have is we need to change that notification that you got. saying login successfully. You can say account created successfully. That. Then instead of here, the error like that, then say something went wrong. That, and yeah, we'll be done with that as well. With all of that now out of the way, the only thing that I feel like we are missing now is the navigation bar. Then now we ensure that now it's linked in a way that the only thing that is we are waiting for is now to send that notification to the backend, like that data to the backend. Now that system should be ready. Let's go back to our components. So Tailwind, just a minute. Tailwind components, go to creative team, then you search for navbar. Let's find a one that looks a little bit more decent. I think I'm just gonna use this. This one looks simple. I don't need any of this. I'm just gonna copy the code. No, I do not want to use this custom. Let me find another one. It's gonna be a little bit hectic. Just want something very simple. Yeah, this one. Copy it as is, and then go back to our code. On the components page, what we need to have, we need to create another folder. I'm gonna call it navbar search. Then I will have let's have index xx, then export, get the function and then paste our code. So as earlier, find the class with an equal sign, replace that with class name as such. Then now we start fixing the other issues. So for 4 should be HTML4 input. They haven't actually closed it, but I doubt that I will be needing that in the first place, but that should work. And then now, because this is something that will cut across all the pages, what we need to do is come to our layouts, then just above the children, import that navbar, and that please ensure that it's imported, then go back to a screen. Let's see how that looks like. It's better. It's really better. Now you can see we have something on top of here that I need to figure out what that is. Okay. So let's look at our navbar. So top, oh yeah, this shouldn't be there, like that. So you'll have the sign up, the sign in and the sign up. Let's ensure that these are pointing to the correct page. So from here, come to where we have the sign in and sign up. Remember, let's use the link that I talked about. So make sure that it's imported from Next and link like that. Oh no, ensure that it's imported from Next link, then copy it, ensure that your tags are closed, then add the link itself. So it's going to sign login that, and then ensure that the same thing is happening with sign up. Yes, then we should be good. So if I click on this, they all work as intended. That just that now the homepage is the one that is not yet working, and we don't need the rest of this. What I'll do is I'll get rid of all of them except for the first one, and then I'm gonna rename it to life insurance. That, change the a tag to link, that, and then there should go to slash, so like the default page. That, so if someone clicks on this, it will take them back to our initial screen. Then the sign up, the sign in, I don't like this line at the bottom. Let's remove that. So the border blue is gray, a little bit better. And also this color, I like it. Not the blue that we like. Gray. Maybe can have it at 800. And let's just have it, let's have it as text black. And then when you hover, you get a gray 600. Yeah, better, much better. So one of the things that I didn't understand is that I don't need that. See, feel good. Feel good. I don't really think I need this. I do not need that. The menu bar is not gonna be so that has been reversed and figure it out. Okay. Doesn't like that. So what you can do is the width is gonna be, then from there do that. Now that looks better. Just need to center it as well. So text item center, you can already see it centered. Now that's much more better. Yeah, something not like that at all. So for a bigger screen, what we'll do is just take 3. Yes, it looks good. Go back to the home page, sign up, sign in. Nice. Now I can comfortably say that this is done. Fix this. Come into the input, now home, go directly to here, and to have in a box of that's consistent. The sign up, the sign in, like that. Now all that is left is now to log in, and then once you're logged in, ensure that you can navigate to this, and once you're here, these buttons do not appear, but they change to the logout. And if you're not logged in, you cannot go into this. It's always gonna redirect you to this so far. So I can see the live has really taken a few hours, and I feel like we should pause that there for today. Then tomorrow we'll implement the login page, ensure that we'll implement the backend. We ensure that you can be able to log in. We ensure that you can be able to you can be able to, those pages cannot be seen. So you have watched from the first second to this. Thank you guys. Thank you. It means a lot to me. So let's meet tomorrow, same time, same place. I'll ensure that I keep time. Thank you guys.